So the Wednesday Addams fringe to me is a really interesting thing because thank goodness we're seeing something besides a curtain fringe. I don't know about any of you, but I'm kind of tired of doing good old curtain fringe. And I figure it's got to come full circle at some point in time. So the three things I'm going to be talking about today with the Wednesday Addams fringe is number one, how much hair do we put into a fringe? Like what's the maximum amount? How much do we want in it anyway? The second thing is going to be what primary form of cutting is it? So is it is it a layered fringe? Is it graduation? Is it one length? And how do we actually tell that? And then the third thing is, do we want to connect it with the rest of the hair or do we want to leave it separate? Because the fringe area can be a completely standalone haircut. So once again, those three things are how much hair are we putting into the fringe? What is the primary form? One length, layering, or graduation, because those are the only things we can do. And then also, do we want to connect it with the rest of the hair or maybe add texture to it? So those are the things we're going to be going with. So I've given her a couple of cute little braids here, which, you have to have if you're going to be Wednesday Addams. I don't know, have you guys watched the show? It's absolutely fascinating and such a great new fresh take on the Addams family. So we started off this particular cut I'm sectioned out the fringe area. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to find out how much hair I want to place in the fringe. Now the maximum amount you can ever place in the fringe is going from the high point of the head. So if I go from the high point of the head, it's going to have quite a bit, and I don't want quite that much. So I'm going to go off of the high point of the fringe. So that's just taking this comb and tipping it down one rotation. So what this does is it gives us a little bit less hair to put into the fringe area. Then I sectioned off the rest of her hair, and then I want to leave a small disconnection point. You remember that little piece that's hanging down right here? I want to keep that separate. So I'm going to work with where the hair naturally splits, because this is where it will split no matter what you do. So in order to find that, comb the hair down and then push back on the hair itself. And you can see it start to get like a little bit thinner in one little area. So right there is where I'm going to create that piece. So let's just tuck this into her braid, her handy dandy little braid there. Maybe I can find it later. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. Now, what form of cutting do you guys think her fringe is? Do you think it's layering, one length, or graduation? Add it in the comments there as I create this other separation piece. Do you think her fringe area is one length, layering, or graduation? Want a little less than that. There we go, right there. Okay, so I've got my little pieces. I've tucked them into the bangs so that I don't cut them. And those are going to be a piece where I would kind of connect. Okay, so I've got some people saying layered, some people saying graduated, more of graduation. I'm going to say it's in between like one length and graduation. It's kind of, so it would be graduation, wouldn't it? But I think that because it has some structure to it. It's not all soft. A lot of our curtain fringes are layered, and that's why they're so soft and wispy. Now, when working with a one length line, what you want to do is you want to be working in natural fall and at a low elevation. So I'm not really going to be working in one length. I'm going to have a little bit of elevation because it is a softer line. It's not like a real strong blunt line, but there is weight to it. So I've decided that it is a graduated fringe, lightly graduated. Okay, so that's my primary form. Now, I'm going to create texture inside of it that will give it some movement because it doesn't just hang there. She pushes it different ways, especially in her famous dance. That thing was so cool. Okay, so coming in, I'm going to take horizontal sections right here. So I've done this a couple of different times just to, try it out and see what I can come up with. And I'll bet there's going to be as many different ways to cut this fringe as there are hairdressers out there, because we all do our things, differently and our own way. So I want this to be relatively low, but not all the way at 0 degrees. So I'm going to elevate just off of the fringe. I see Hair Say Salon just joined. I was just there doing a class. Hi, you guys. So here we have, make sure I didn't grab any of my little pieces because I don't want to cut these 2 pieces. These are going to be those little additional connection points. So I know that the fringe is not straight across from what I've looked at anyway. It has a little bit of a curve to it, but not a lot of a curve. So I'm going to come in, distance equals length. So if I pinch the hair in the center, it's going to be longer on the outside. So thank you, you guys. I loved you too. We had so much fun. Okay, so I'm going to come in. I'm going to pinch this hair. Now, how short? That's a good consideration, isn't it? So I think it's going to need to be, because she can see out of her hair. So we're going to go right about at the bridge of the nose. So let's go right there. You can always take off a little bit more hair. You can never put it back on. Okay, so low elevation. Get myself consistent again. So I'm really watching to make sure that that's pinched together in the center. And I'm going to cut from the short to long. So my blades are going to be pointed in this way, and then I'm going to turn and go the opposite direction once I reestablish that. Reestablish here. There we go. Go in from the outside, because short hair pushes long. And even with these very, very small, minute things, it makes a big difference in the push of the hair, especially in such an isolated area. Hello, Mexico. Okay, I think I can go just a touch shorter because we have to be able to see. So let's go ahead, bring that in. Low elevation, pinching the hair. I don't do a lot of pinching of the hair, you guys, so this was a challenge for me. Okay, so low elevation, and I'm going to take about ½ an inch off again. So working from the outside in. Just little snips. I want it to be relatively blunt, but not completely blunt. I think that might be enough. Okay, now, interesting, because I'm trying to stay out of the way of the camera, you can see how it's a little bit longer on this side. And that's because I'm standing on this side. So let me get directly in front. You'll always over-direct to yourself. So I'm going to stand directly in front so that I can make sure I'm even. And there it is, just a smidge. What's interesting is the very end of this video. So make sure you stay tuned till the end, because that's where the magic happens, is in the texture of this particular cut. Okay, so I think that's good because it gets pushed out of the way, round brushed. A lot of hairspray is used in this particular style. So hairstylists out there, start thinking about hairsprays again for style and keeping the hair in a certain look. Okay, so I don't think Wednesday is concerned with being supernatural. Okay, so there's my second section, just another horizontal section right on top of my first one. I'm going to take that hair. I don't necessarily need to grab all of the underneath. I'm going to elevate it up just slightly. This is what gives it the graduation. If it were one length, it would just be hanging down. Okay, would I say that this is low maintenance? No, not at all. Well, maybe. If you wanted to just let it grow and get longer, sure, it could be low maintenance because it can push off to the sides. But if you want to keep it right at that sweet spot, right where you can just barely see and not always have to push it, then it will be maintenance. Okay, so I'm coming up just a little bit. My elevation is just slightly higher. I'm cutting right onto my guide underneath. So that created just ever so slight bit amount of graduation. Hello from Kent, UK. Come in, I've got to see one hair here that's driving me nuts. There we go. Okay, the third section, my last section, I'm going to elevate ever so slightly higher. So it's only a small amount of elevation. It's not a lot. If it were a lot, you'd start seeing a real strong buildup of that graduation. Okay, so here, once again, pinching. So I'm continuing that consistent pinch. My guide is right underneath, right there. Making sure I'm in the center. Little itty bitty snips from the outside in. Okay, so now I've got kind of a blunt-ish edge on the hair. What I want to do now is I'm going to go in with my texturizers, and this to me is where the magic happens. So I've got my 40-tooth texturizers, and these are in my angel blades, which are available in my Shop Now store on my Instagram. And I'm going to take them, make sure that stays out of my way. Okay. I'm going to take pretty much my first section, and this is the part that I absolutely love. Okay, so I'm going to come in and I'm going to choose little sections. If she wants to push it one direction, because what I noticed is that she pushes it a lot of different directions. And so this is going to give some availability for the hair to move. So I'm going to come in, remembering that short hair pushes long, and work the opposite direction in towards the center with my texture. Just like 3 little slices. Oh, you love your shears. Yay. Thank you, Rebecca. Rebecca said she just purchased some angel blades. She loves them. Okay. So now I've got an internal structure inside of my line that's pushing into the center. Okay. This is my favorite little spot right here. I want to give just a small amount to push to the side. Somebody else just ordered their shears. Thank you. Okay, so just coming in right there. This is similar to a technique I call texture sandwich, where I go and I texturize differently for the different layers of the hair or of the fringe. Okay, so you can see how that still has a heavy feeling to it, but I've started to break up the edges and create movement in the interior. The next section, just let me see here, I'm going to take my next section down and then subdivide that. So I'm leaving a little bit of hair over the top that doesn't have any texture to it at all. So now for this, I'll go in and I'm going into a V. So this is pushing out because short hair pushes long hair. So the whole thing that I'm doing with my texture right now is I'm utilizing it to help create different movement inside of the hair. So that when we go in and we hairspray, we might want to move this off to the side, and I have some internal texturizing that's going to help me. Okay, next section, I'm going to let down a piece that has no texture to it. So this is where the texture sandwich comes in. I'm leaving that alone. I'm going to elevate this and just soften. Okay, now I need to blow dry that, because when I blow dried it longer, and I would always do this fringe for me, I would always do it dry, just because it has so many things going on in it. It would be hard to do it when it's wet. Okay, so medium round brush. Let's blow dry this. Okay, so now let's take a look. Still have my texturizers in my hand in case I need them. Okay, so we're getting kind of some different splits in different areas. So we've got that heaviness, and yet we've got kind of a rounded edge to it. Now let's do the little money piece. Yeah, there we go. And I'm going to pull this forward. If I want them to match, let's see. Sometimes I'll have a direction and I just kind of change in the middle. So, I don't know, I could pull these together. I don't think I want to do that. I think I want to just take a look at them from the sides. And you can see how that is just gently curving right across the cheekbone, right on top of that cheekbone area. This would drive somebody crazy that doesn't want to have fringe in their eyes, so that would be an important thing to check with people. I want this to be just right about here. I don't want it to be too blunt, So let's lift it up. If you ever want to remove weight, elevate. So I'm just going to bring this up here. Well, let's just see what this does. Okay, I kind of like that. I like that it's so soft. I'm going to take it up again and do it one more time. Just make it a little bit shorter. Right about there. Okay, so that has a nice soft edge to it. It isn't blended into the hair, but it does have a nice softness to it. So let's do that again on this side. Turn her so you can see. So elevating up. So in essence, I'm layering this hair. I'm layering a small piece to create that little dangle hair right there. I can't believe I hit that one almost exact, so I'm just going to stop. Know when to stop. Okay, now let's take some hairspray to it because we want to create some different feelings, and it's actually a big part of the style. It isn't just spray across the top. There's different motions going on in the style. So I'm going back under. Now, do you guys notice how I'm pretty much treating this little area just as if it were its own haircut? Why does it look like even this mannequin is enjoying this? I don't know. Maybe she is enjoying it. She likes Wednesday Addams as well. Okay, now mess it up. Okay, so I want to let's just take this piece. And this is a stronghold, firm hold hairspray from KMS. I'm going to do that. So just get it kind of going one direction. So I'm not spraying all of the hair. I'm taking certain pieces and spraying them and leaving the rest of it. And I love these little pieces on the sides. To me, they make it so much more interesting. Okay, let's let down the next layer. She has to not mind getting hairspray on her face. This might bring back, the mall bangs, only they'll be different. They'll just be, they'll be different. So I'm getting them going a different direction. I don't know if you guys can really see that or not. So some of the hair is moving one direction, some is straight down. You don't cut hair and you love my videos. Thank you. Okay, and then last section. So there's a lot of layers and a lot of different things going on as far as the product goes. It isn't just, I'm just spraying the hair because I want to spray the hair. It's very, very deliberate. And those pieces on the sides. Okay, so here we have our little Wednesday Addams fringe. The three things that I went through, and she does kind of look like Wednesday, doesn't she? The three important things that I worked on with this were deciding how much hair to actually put into that fringe. Then, what is the primary form? We'd all decided it was graduation. It's just like very lightly graduated, which creates that nice rounded feeling to it. And then I decided not to connect it with the rest of the hair. Number one, because she had pigtails in, but I don't think it's actually really connected with the rest of the hair. It's kind of almost a standalone cut, but we do have these cute little pieces that give it a visual blend. So you guys, thank you so much. This is going to be saved to my subscriber area. So if you do want to become a subscriber, it is, let me see, because of a poor connection, there we go. If you want to become a subscriber, hit the subscribe badge on my profile. And somebody asked, why use a hairspray instead of a texturizing spray? Because this actually stays in place. It doesn't really move very much. You create a look and then you keep it, unless you want to move it a different way, and then you create that look. And that's what I read, all about her fringe. So you guys, thank you so much